Back now with Planet Forward, the webisode, and Van Jones, White House advisor on green jobs, enterprise, and innovation. That is a great title.
Thank you.
I don't know if it fits on one business.
It takes three, but there it is.
So from web to TV to web again, that's what we're doing here at Planet Forward. It's where we bring your ideas directly to decision makers like Van Jones. And thanks again for coming over from the White House today.
Glad to be here.
Do appreciate it. So Van, in the last segment, we talked a bit about what communities are doing, wind and solar in particular. Now let's talk about what people can do and what impact they can have. So here in the heart of Washington, D.C., in the heart of this campus of the George Washington University, students are taking a lead in something. And I know you've written about students. We'll talk about that in a minute. This comes from Building JJ. It's a green dorm here on campus. So let me show you.
Building JJ is a newly converted residence hall that has become a green dorm building. And we here have implemented new green technologies that kind of work with students so they can be eco-friendly and at the same time go about their normal lives. We here believe that fossil fuels are responsible for a lot of what's going wrong in the world today, especially in America. So here in DC, in an urban community, we are trying to make a start by reducing our water usage and our electricity usage to help be a symbol to other students at the campus and to actually enact some real change. We have implemented several technologies in our house to reduce electricity and water, including power strips so we can turn off everything at once and prevent ghost energy. We have motion sensor lights. We have, to save water, efficient shower heads, faucets, toilets, and all of our efforts with many other adjustments to the house have saved 60% of the energy usage of last year and 60% of the water usage from last year. So we've seen huge reductions, and we really haven't changed a lot of that.
60% reductions. What do you think?
Well, that's excellent because the average is about 30%. With fairly significant effort. So they've done something really extraordinary, and the great thing about that is that's going to be 60% cost savings. So one of the things that is important about
we like that here.
Yeah, exactly. yeah. And one of the great things about President Obama's agenda is that it really focuses on efficiency as well as renewables. And so by being more efficient, not only are you saving energy, you're also saving money, which is very important in this economy.
Now, he said something that I thought was very interesting. He said students can live here in an eco-friendly way, but go about their normal lives. Mm-hmm. It's sort of an interesting pairing, isn't it?
Well, I think, it goes to this kind of fear that people have is that you're going to have to live in a cave in order to respect the earth.
Sacrifice. Give something up.
And what I think these young people are demonstrating, I think what the president is committed to, is the idea that with smarter technologies, we can actually do many of the same things we've been doing, but at a lower price point and a lower cost to the planet.
What's the most significant thing they're doing in that building, from what you could tell?
Well, actually the motion sensor lighting, because
really,
yes, because when you're talking about those larger structures, leaving the lights on day, night, that's going to be a big chunk of your time. But students aren't there all the time. They're out on the quad, they're in school. So what you want to be able to do is, when you open the door and you walk in, the lights cut on, you go in your dorm room, you close the door, after a little while the lights go off. And you can get, and you don't even notice necessarily that the hall is dark when you're not in the hall.
So what's involved in taking this model from a dorm and turning it into an apartment building or an office building and doing a whole city? Because your thing is largely about what we can do in urban America, where we use huge amounts of electricity.
Sure. Well, I mean, what's great is the products that they use are not they're not space age George Jetson stuff that we have to wait 1,000 years for. That's off the shelf technology, probably installed at with some good skilled workers. You can do that in every apartment building in the United States. You can do that in every public housing project in the United States and get tremendous cost savings, and you haven't asked anybody to live in a cave.
Now, in your book, Green Collar Economy, you actually write about the role that students should play in a new partnership.
Sure.
So these guys are more than just doing a dorm, in your view.
Well, I think that they are a critical part of what I would call the Green Growth Alliance. We have this tremendous opportunity in the United States to have the best of business, the best of labor movements, student movements, environmentalists, justice folks say, hey, listen, let's stop fighting each other. That's the great thing about Barack Obama. He kind of sets this tone. Let's work together. Well, this is the kind of stuff if labor unions could get excited about maybe doing some of that kind of work, new entrepreneurial opportunities. Students love these new causes. Maybe you can have some training programs for low-income people to get a chance to learn those energy auditing skills. This is a win. It's not win-win. It's triumph, triumph, triumph.
All right. Well, let me press you on that, because we've heard some people on
Sure.
Planet Forward who say, well, great ideas, but not so fast.
Good.
One of them who says, and he writes the following. He says, this is from Gordon Johnson. He's a former budget director from the University of Colorado at Boulder. He says, wind-driven generators, solar panels, energy storage devices require a substantial amount of metals, lubricants, and other finite natural resources. He writes, given our current level of dependency on fossil fuels, it's a huge challenge just to meet a portion of the current demand with cleaner technologies. Can we solve any of these problems without addressing population growth?
Sure. Well, this is a complex problem. We certainly, don't want to overshoot our capacity to live on the earth by having too many people. But the reality is, it's not just a number of people, it's what those people are doing, how much they're consuming, how much they're polluting. And to his point, it is true that we are still in the first generation of these renewables. And we are, with some of these renewables, using, as again, finite, even exotic materials. But the next generation, it's going to be, you're going to see the price come down, you're going to see less exotic materials being used.
He's saying, this is all great stuff, and we're all singing, holding hands and singing Kumbaya, but it's just, and a lot of people say with this sort of distributed power like this, and even with the energy savings, it's not nearly enough. The population of the planet is going to double. Energy needs are going to increase.
Well, I haven't heard of doubling. If we were talking about doubling,
I'm sorry, it's going to jump by another 3 billion, and the power needs will double.
Sure. Okay, that's right. Here's the reality. Enough sunlight hits the Earth's surface to power all of in 1 hour, to power all of human civilization for a year. What we don't have is the technology to capture that and use it well. Here's reality. In the United States alone, we have a wealth of wind resources and solar resources that our best scientists say could take even just the wind resources done right, 15-20% of our load. If we then have more efficient appliances, which we haven't focused on, we can shrink the demand and meet more of our supply with renewable resources.
All right, one last question and one last response, and then we're done. Or there's a comment, actually. This is a comment from Green Neighbor. They came in and they say, we water lawns in the desert, we overheat buildings in wintertime, we overcool them in the summertime, we use leaf blowers instead of garden rakes, we transport foods we eat thousands of miles from farm to dinner plate. He says, I think we have to find a cure for this behavior before we concrete over more wild lands to support our energy habit. Means we really got to change the way we do things. Yes? No? Maybe so?
Well, I mean, I think you're going to see a combination of approaches here. I think what President Obama has been focused on is making sure that minimally the government is on the side of the problem solvers here. So for too long, I think our government's been on the side of the problem makers and the kind of status quo holding back innovation. This president is tired of the problem makers in the energy sector writing the rules for themselves. Let's have innovation in our energy sector like we had in our information technology sector. Let's see where we are in 10 years.
Okay, more ideas and comments can be found on all over planetforward.org. You can see the television show which we put on the air, see hundreds of videos and ideas and comments. So chime in, register to be part of our community, join the conversation, the debate, submit your own video or your essay. Van Jones, thank you for being with us today. We'll talk more when we come back. Stay with us, pop around on planetforward.org.